Hello, my name's Alan Newberry. Usually I'm doing videos of me making something, and quite frequently it's knives, as that's mostly what I do. But today I'm going to delve back into Burmese Star Tortoises, as I know that when I was starting out with Burmese Star Tortoises a few years ago, I was scouring the internet, looking at every video, image, piece of information I could find, and there wasn't a whole lot. I'm not going to pack this thing really full of information, but what I am packing it full of is little video clips of my tortoises, just to kind of show you a little bit of what they look like. And if you look back at my previous video on Burmese Star Tortoise care, you'll see my older tortoises when they were a little bit younger. This one right here is one that's new to me, and I've had it for just a couple of weeks, and it's very young, about 100 grams, and it's hard to tell what sex it's going to be. With the star tortoises, it's been kind of iffy. This one was incubated for female, but a lot of people are having kind of terrible luck in the sex ratios they're getting whenever they're incubated for female. If you get one incubated for male, tends to be male. Female, it's kind of been hit and miss. I had really good luck with my original 3, and they all ended up being female, so maybe I'll keep that luck going with this guy. This one's a really pretty tortoise. You'll notice it's got a pretty good amount of yellow, and at the skin tone on it is just a super bright yellow. So I'm pretty excited to watch this one grow up and see what she turns into. With the housing, with these young ones, I like to use orchid bark for the substrate. In this case, I do have some other things mixed into it, some cypress mulch and some other things, but generally I like to use orchid bark, and I'll probably swap it back out for the orchid bark before too long. I like to use a closed chamber, so it's not just an open top tortoise table or something like that. This way I can keep the humidity under control and the temperature under control. I like to keep the humidity around 80%, which helps with pyramiding. So if you look at this tortoise, it's got a little bit of bumpiness to it, nothing crazy, but I don't know if that's going to smooth out or if this one's just kind of predetermined to be a little bit bumpy. I've found that some of my tortoises, I had those 3 tortoises raised in exactly the same conditions, and 2 of them pretty stinking smooth, and 1 of them's kind of bumpy. Lived in the same place, eating the same meals, but sometimes I think some of them are just more likely to get pyramided than others, even given the same conditions. But you got to try to give them all the help they can to have a nice smooth growth, and I think that extra humidity is real important, especially if you're feeding them a decent amount. But this is just a really pretty tortoise, and I'm having fun having a small tortoise again. Here's a little close-up shot for you. I'm recording this audio outside on my back porch in the dark, looking at the stars and listening to the cicadas. So if you're hearing all that noise out there, you know what that is. I'm out here in the Ozarks, and it is a beautiful night out. Anyway, so like I said before, I have another video on Burmese Star Tortoise care, and that's really talking about the care of like these little ones here. So it's care that works really well for the first couple years of life. After that, it's probably good to give them a little room to stretch their legs outside, which you'll see a little bit later on in the video when I show my other tortoises, that they now have a little bit of room outside to stretch their legs. So I give them both indoor and outdoor time. I don't like leaving them outside whenever I'm not around or at night. I'm just too paranoid of raccoons and thieves and all that kind of fun stuff. So I like to just put them outside when I know I'm going to be around, and I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, and bring them back in for the nighttime. Anyway, here is their outdoor setup. It's kind of still a little fresh. I've got different sections so I can separate the males and the females, and then I've got a smaller section that'll work for some smaller ones. Here's one of my new males, so he wasn't in the previous video. There's my other male as well. So they're really nice, wide banding, very nice, and I'm hoping they'll do pretty well whenever it comes around to breeding. They're around 700-800 grams, and so that's, I don't know. I've heard of people breeding them around 1,000 grams, but I mean, they may very well be able to do the job now. I'm not sure, but I'll be trying to beef them up a little bit before the time comes, and I've got a little bit of time for my females to grow before they're ready for any breeding. So till then, they'll just hang out separately. They've got separate enclosure indoors and outdoors. So I keep them separated until my females get up to being about 3,000 grams is the plan. Most people kind of recommend that as a good starting weight for breeding the females, because you don't want to start them too young for their health. And here's one of my females now hiding in the grass. They do a lot of that out here because there's plenty of grass to hide in and to munch on. And it's amazing how well those star patterns, which are so, pretty, are actually pretty good camouflage. They break up their pattern fairly well when you're looking for them. And there's times, even though the enclosure's not huge, that it takes me a few minutes to find one of them. You get to thinking maybe you lost them there. Anyway, here are my females. So if you watch the previous video I did on Burmese Star Tortoise care, you will see these guys when they were much smaller. Now they're I think about 1,300 and maybe 1,500 and maybe 1,800 grams on the three of them. The one that is moving off to the left, that one is Calamity Jane. The one in the middle, that's Annie Oakley, and the one on the right is Bonnie Parker. I didn't mention it earlier, but the males have names too. One of them is Starman, and the other one's Burning Man. So I figure you got to have fun with naming tortoises. And shoot, if you guys have some interesting tortoise names that you guys have used, let me know. I think we're kind of getting to the end of the video here. So if you have things that you want to hear about on Burmese Star Tortoises or that you want to see, let me know. And we've got a Facebook group over on Facebook, obviously, called Burmese Stars. So you can come talk with me over there and with the other people who have some beautiful tortoises as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Thanks.